Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to discuss the static variables and arrays. So basically, when we define a function and when we call the function is going to execute certain blocks of code. And when the function is finished, whatever that has been done in the function is going to be removed from the memory. That we know from before. However, in order for the function to retain some part of the values that we initialized in another call, it is necessary to use static variables. Let me give you an example. So we would like to write a program that uses a static array to count how many times a function is called. So let's just eliminate the static part for the moment. We solve the problem using a normal situation, then we integrate the static variables. So we have one int main function here, and we have another function. It is called count calls, and it's a void type, and it passes no argument. This is why in the parentheses it's empty. So the first time we are calling this function uh, this function starts to be executed. So we here initialize an array named call count, and it is of the integer type, and the value here shows that it only has one element and its element is 0. So it only has one element and that one element is 0. Okay. Then in order to manipulate different elements of an array, we can use the following code line, this one. So basically we are calling the array, and then we are calling the element of the array. When we are saying the 0, it means the first element because C++ starts from 0. So if this array had two variables, two elements, for example, and we were writing 1 instead of 0 here, we were accessing the second element or the last element of the array. So here we can access the first element of array call count using this line. Okay, so now we learned how to access different elements of an array. So in order to access the first element of array call count, we are using this code, and by using plus plus, we are incrementing the first element of array call count. So previously it is defined to be 0. Now we are incrementing the first element of the call count array, therefore it should be 1 now. So we are adding one value to 0. So the first element now is 0. Then it is saying that function called, and it is going to print the first element of the array. Previously, we know when we wanted to print different elements of an array, like all the elements of an array, we used to use a for loop. So we were iterating over all the elements of an array. However, if we would like to access and print maybe or manipulate a specific element of an array, simply we can use this. So because now we are writing C out, it's going to print the first element of the array call count. Here we are manipulating the first element of the array call count by increasing it by one value. We could decrease it also. So there are different things that we can do. So then the function, then it is going to print the first element of the call count array. After this manipulation, we expect the printed number here would be 1 rather than 0. Why? Because we increased its value by 1 here. Then this function is finished. This function is executed and we come back here. So this line is also executed. We go to the next line. When we go to the next line, again, the function is initialized the array is initialized to be the type of int. It is going to have one element and its element is 0. Then we are going to increase this first element of the array called count. So we are incrementing it by one value, and when we are printing it, it is going to show us again one and another round. So we are going to call the function again. We are doing the same thing. So we are going to print three numbers. 1 1 1. Let me just call the function and then start the program. Okay, here we see that for the first time it is calling the function, it is declaring and initializing the array, and then it is incrementing the value of the array here, and then it is printing. So it is printing one function called one time. When we are calling the function again, it comes back here. It declares and initialize the array again. It is incrementing its first element and it is printing it. Okay. However, when it is finished, it is removing everything from the memory. This is why the next time we are just having the function called one time and then the third time. Let me print the also cout. I think it's nice to have this line, so it would be easier to see the increment impact. We are saying that function called before manipulation call count 0 and del. Okay, let me run. Okay, so every time that we call the function, it is initializing and declaring one array. Then we are printing its first element. So function called before manipulation, the element of the array, the first element of the array called count is printed, which is 0. Then we are increasing it. We are incrementing its value by 1. So the output then will be 1. When we are printing it again, it is 1. So we see that an increase of 1 time is done. When we finish execution of this function and we come back here, we go to next line, we are going to call the function again. Everything is going to start from 0 again. So every time that we call the function, everything starts from 0. We are reinitializing again the array, we are declaring it, we are printing its first element, then we are increasing the first element. However, if we use a static keyword here before the type of the array, when we run, you see, the first time we run, it is going to declare and initialize the array. So far, it's the same thing, but we see the output here. So we added only one keyword static here. When we are printing the function called before manipulation, it is printing 0, which makes sense because the first element is 0 here, so it is going to print 0. Then it is incrementing the first element of the called count array by 1, and then we are printing the first element of the call count array here. So we are saying function called one time. Then we come back here and we call the function again. When we are calling the function again, here we are printing that function called before manipulation for the second round is 1. You see the difference? So it could retrieve what the first element of the array was in the previous call. So it is not printing 0 again, it is printing 1, which was the value of the first element of the call count function after the manipulation using this line in the first call in this line. But here we are calling it for the second time. It is still remembering that we one time has done one modification on the first element, and the first element is 1 because we did one manipulation. So when we add the keyword static, the memory usage is different. So it remembers that we had already declared and initialized this array once. We manipulated once and incremented its first value from 0 to 1. Now it is printing its first value using this line, which equals to 1. Then we are going to increment the first element of the call count array in the second call. Then we are going to print it. So when we are printing it, it says function called call count. So print the first element of the call count array. It is going to print 2. Why? Because it remembers that when we started it was 1, then we increased it by 1, and it is now 2. This code is executed. We go to the third line, and when we go to the third line here, we will see that it is again remembering what has been done in the first call and the second call of the function. Now it's the third call, and it is going to print function called before manipulation. It is printing the number 2, and then we are modifying it again. We are increasing its value by 1, and we are printing it again, and it says function called 3 times. So there are 2 things to remember from the calling the function and using static variables. So the first thing is that when we have the static variables included, the program remembers what has been done before, and it uses the same memory. This is why it is remembering it. When it is initializing an array of a static type, it is going to initialize it, and it's going to be there forever as long as we are using this function, and it's not going to declare and then delete the memory in the end. So when we are using the static, it is going to remember. When we are not using static, it is going to initialize it, and when the function ends, it's going to remove it from the memory. So when the first call is ending here, it is going to remove everything. This is why in the second call it's not remembering anything. This is the first thing to consider. And the second thing is that it is very useful to, for example, initialize an array using a static variable to have a counter, like mentioning, okay, I would like to declare a function. In that function, there is an array that is of a static int, and we know whenever we enter the function, we are going to manipulate one data, for example, here. And in the end of the program, when you have like 200 lines, you may need to call this function again and again. Using static variables will help you to understand how many times this function is called. So it could also help you to have a counter there, because it's going to remember previous calls. And finally, the same thing could be done using call by reference. So instead of using static int array, we could simply define some arguments here and pass these arguments using call by reference. Therefore, the function was going to originally use the arguments that are passed in the same place of the memory. It was going to access the same place of the memory and then do the modification directly using those arguments. However, in terms of memory usage, there are some differences between using a static array or like calling a function by reference. These topics are also very important in memory management that we are going to explain in this course, but in another section. So just keep that in mind. This can be done also by using a call by reference, for example. It's a bit different. How we do it? So basically we need to remove this static keyword, and we are going to define some arguments here, and we pass the arguments using this function, and we have the and sign before the arguments to mention, to give the program the sign that we are using call by reference. So this could be done by both ways, using static variables or call by reference, but in terms of memory usage, there are some differences between these two. However, those differences are going to be discussed in another section in the same course, in this course, but in another section about memory management. Just keep that in mind. We are going to dive into the details later on in this course. Thank you for watching.